and welcome back to Paper Therapy with Amy. I have some pictures of Hawaii here. This is probably my favorite one right here with our shoes and that beautiful white sand. Do you ever have pictures that become like larger than life in your mind and you kind of get a little afraid to scrapbook them? So that's what these were to me. These were in a file on my phone called Driving to the North Shore. This is on the way, the one day we got a car, and on the way there, on the way to the beach that has the sea turtles, we stopped at different beaches along the way, and this was kind of our drive along the windward side. And it was just so beautiful, and I really love some of these photos, like this one and this one and this one. And so it was kind of scary in a way to scrapbook these for me. I wanted to show you how I go about choosing paper when I know I'm not going to use just one paper pack for a layout. So the first thing I did is I pulled out my outdoor bin. I'm just going to put it here for you to see. It is a full bin. And I went through this. I have some different, like I have this Lake Life one. It's not really great for ocean because it's more lake themed. And I looked through this, and actually I came across a couple of paper packs that were kind of fun. So one paper pack I came across was this one here. And it is oceany. It's called Cape Cod, and it was from Close to My Heart. And the sticker that was right here, I still had available, and I thought, oh man, that's like perfect for this. So that was kind of part of what I was planning. That's when a seed gets planted in my mind a little bit. But actually the first paper pack I came across that matched was this one here. This is Chelsea Gardens from 2017. It's pretty old, but I thought, oh man, these colors, they go really well together. So I started searching through this paper pack to see what was in here, and I could use some of this. I have a little piece down here, so I could just keep that out in case I do want to use some foliage. I mean, it goes really well. I'm just not sure that I'm going to go with that, but two sheets in here are these two sheets, and they have this marble look on the back side, but I just think they make the perfect background for this, right? So I think I'm going to start on these two sheets for you guys. I'm always wanting to use something from Stampin' Up because I know that's kind of what everyone likes to see, because you might have this too in your stash. I mean, we do like to keep things for a long time, so there's actually a good chance you have this. So then I had to think about what else I should bring in. So I do know that recently I did a layout with this paper here. This is from the Botanical Textures, I think it's called, and it is, to me, it's kind of tropical, and I'm wearing black on my shirt, and my husband's shirt is totally black. So, and then that picture with the shoes, my shoes are black and his are brown. So a black anchoring color might be nice. So I've got that one there. And even this has some dark charcoal gray in it, so it could go together if I decide to use this paper. So I was trying to think of what is really beachy to me, and one thing I kind of thought was neat was the idea of one of those beachy fences with the thin boards that go up and down. And it made me think of this paper from the wood grain paper here. So I've got my pack here, and of course it does match. And the peach would go, but I don't know if I want to put a peachy pink in this layout. I've been seeing the peach a lot in my beachy layouts and the oranges, and I'm like, maybe this time I'm going to pass on that because I don't really have peach in the photos other than skin. So I was thinking, what if I would cut this into strips right along that dark line? And I did that. I tried it out, and I inked around the edges of those strips, and then I just took the peach ones out, right? Because you don't have to use peach. There's a shorty. So I was thinking I could kind of build a fence maybe around some of the pictures and something like that. But then the fence needs to go into something. It needs to end somewhere. And I could just cut along the bottom, but I thought, well, it would be nice if it kind of landed in some sand. And I had to start thinking about what I have that could be sand. But then I remembered this paper pack here, the woven textures, and this sheet kind of reminds me of sand. So I thought, oh, maybe I could use some of that down at the bottom, kind of to have those boards landing in. But of course it would look nicer if it was kind of a more organic edge. So I think I'm gonna try and tear that and maybe even a few layers and have that somewhere for my photos to land. So I'm gonna bring in the Versamats and cut off that strip, and then we'll start I'll start to decide how I'm gonna lay this layout out. I think I've settled on an arrangement, and I'm going to add the fences in on either side of my arrangement. So I'm just gonna have kind of a rectangle of pictures in the middle, and then I'm gonna build those fences on either side, and I'm gonna have this picture of my husband and I kind of framed, popped up over top, and I'm going to have the picture of the highway kind of tucked underneath the fence because there's some parts of it that aren't that beautiful. I used my paper trimmer to cut the boards along the dark lines in between, and then I just ripped these pieces in half. I think it was about a 10-inch piece that I was cutting into strips. I don't think it was a full 12. I do also want some sort of anchor eventually across the bottom, so I think I'm going to push everything up just a little bit, and then I'm going to leave space for a little strip of something across the bottom here underneath my sand that I'm going to add in. That's better. That gives me a little more space to build this fence, this beachy fence here. So how I chose these photos is I kind of had three favorites, the one of the shoes and the one of me walking on the beach away, and then the one of my husband and I. And the one of my husband and I felt was close enough that it didn't need to be 4x6. So I thought I would play it up by popping it up or putting a frame around it or giving it an extra mat. And I printed all these photos out with the white trim. So they are 4x6 and 3x4, including their white trim. As I was building this fence, I discovered I could kind of frame in the picture of my husband and I that way, and that brought a little more attention to it. So I decided to go with that and keep going above the picture. I tore a few pieces of that linen-looking, fabric-looking paper, and I layered them up, and eventually I end up doing a third layer because I just like things better in threes, but I do think they kind of resemble sand and I like how they look. I also really wanted to cover up that kind of red bush in the foreground of that bottom picture. I really wanted to just show the mountain. I found the red bush kind of distracting, and there's kind of cars and it's not that pretty in the foreground, so I was kind of going for covering up the bottom there just so you could see the mountain. I'm still sort of only dry fitting everything in place. I'm fussing around a bit with these boards, seeing how I want them to end and how I want them to go around the corner here. And then once I have it the way I want it, I will glue most of it together, although I'm not going to glue it to the background quite yet in case I want to do some splatters or anything like that. The title I chose is from the Cape Cod sticker sheet, and it is from Close to My Heart's Lagoon, and I'll bring it in a few minutes here. But because of that, I wanted to have more lagoon in the page. I do think those fence pieces lend themselves very well to lagoon as well. So I cut a mat for each of the 4x6 photos, and I really distressed around the edge by folding it and pressing it and putting ink on it and using my fingernail to rough it up. So I have two mats there, and then I also want to mat the photo of my husband and I, but I'm going to do that with some of these wood grain pieces, give it kind of a wood grain frame. I missed the camera on most of that, but what I did is use some of those leftover planks in the dark blue color. It would be Sapphire and Close to My Heart, and maybe Night of Navy in Stampin' Up. and I just created a square and then placed the picture over top. So it just kind of looks like a wooden frame. Okay, I wanted to put something under here to kind of anchor this down over here. And the way I want to do that is I want to use this paper here. I only have this small piece and I do want it the whole way, but I think I can patch it together because not much of it's going to show. It's just going to show here and then underneath. So I want some color to it. Like, this is fine, but I would like to have some color to it. So the way I'm going to do that, I've actually done it already. I had 2 pieces like this, got it out from my other paper. So I'm going to show it to you. It's these, and I did patch them together. You won't be able to see that once it's on there. But I want to show you how I did that. I took blending brushes and different colors that are in this layout. I actually used all Stampin' Up colors for this one because I have a bunch of Stampin' Up inks I got secondhand. So I used like Pear Pizzazz and a bunch of different inks, and I inked up each. I can just show you a little bit with what's on this brush, but I just rubbed. You see how they're a little bit bluey? That's how I did that. And you can do it with all of these papers actually. So that's how I did that. Okay. So I do like a little frame, as you know, and so I think I just gutted out some white paper here, and I'm just gonna add a tiny frame. I think it mimics these frames here, and I really like how that looks, but I'm gonna do it like on the small side of a 1/4 inch down. These are loose yet. I've kind of put them together on the backs so that I'm able to, if I wanna stamp in behind here yet, I can. Another thing I did is the paper pack, that Chelsea Garden, pardon me, the Chelsea Garden paper pack had a sheet full of cards that you could cut apart. And so I cut those apart, and I'm planning to use a few of those. So here's a few. I'm going to see how I can fit them in. I do want to have some journaling, so I was thinking I might have that tucked along the top. And then I had this paper too that I was thinking about trying to get in. So I'm still kind of considering whether it's going to be too busy with that, or if I can have a few little pieces, or just even layer them kind of like this. And then I need a few oceany themed things. So I'm gonna create some. I have quite a few different things, but I need them to be the right size. But I'm definitely going to cut some coral. I have some die cuts for cutting coral. And if any of that is still available, I'll link it down below. Some of those dies and stamp sets are gone, and some are still available. And I think, have a stamp set that matches this as well. So this paper. So I may stamp a few flowers, like just white flowers, and have them to kind of add into here as well. I have all my embellishments across the bottom here, and I'm ready to put them on. And I have my title right here in the lagoon, and it says wild and free, just like the sea, which I thought, when will I have a more perfect color or appropriate title for a layout? So I may as well use it up. Since there is a fair amount of real estate up at the top, I am going to add a little bit of this floral paper up there, and this journaling spot that I stamped a little turtle from the sea turtle photopolymer stamp set on. I do want a touch of this coral in every spot. I made the coral a green color, and it's kind of, for me, replacing leaves, although I do add a few leaves up at the top, because spoiler alert, that coral does not stay up there. I decide to just put flowers up there and use the coral on each side of the layout, where I have most of my embellishments, where the fences are. You saw that I snipped that coral apart, and I had only cut a half piece because I only had that much paper. I only had this small piece of this matching green paper in my scraps bin. So I cut that piece of coral apart just so I could have some of it on different sides of the title. And I fuss around with this quite a bit with the flowers and the turtle and try to get it all in there. But eventually I do find a way that I like it. And I add some kind of rope in there too that I think is kind of beachy and oceany.
I created all these embellishments myself from Stampin' Up stamps. I wanted to use the stamp set that came with this Chelsea Garden paper pack, but it is an inverted stamp, meaning that you stamp the color of the flower like it's the outline that's white. So I couldn't stamp them in white unless I embossed them and put them on a darker background, and I decided that the hibiscus flowers matched well enough for me. So all of these embellishments I created with Stampin' Up products. I absolutely love these flowers in white. I just think they are so crisp and pretty. And I have the whole embossing folder and the thing that you can use to color them in. But my favorite thing is just stamping them with black on white. And then I inked a little slight bit of Lagoon Blue in the middle, just to give them a tinge of blue in the center. The boards have some Night of Navy type color, a navy blue, and so that's why I decided to add in the starfish in a blue color. And believe it or not, starfish do come in, I saw them in like dark purple. They almost looked blue. Not that it really matters. I don't think we have to be literal with our layouts. I only had a few very small partial pieces of green left, so I used those to cut out partial pieces of leaf. There is a leaf die that comes in the Happy Hibiscus set, and I put those in behind the Happy Hibiscus just to bring the green up to the top, and I think I use a little one at the bottom by the title as well. I use this color scheme more often for layouts, even for hiking or anything in the mountains where those teal blue lakes are. And I just love this color scheme. It's so, I guess, earthy and pretty. I believe in my last video I mentioned that I was at a garage sale and I picked up a bunch of scrapbooking stuff. And I got these little word phrases. They are Tim Holtz ideology, and it's just a booklet full of little, what looks like the old-fashioned labeling tape with little words on them. And I've chosen some of them for each of my embellishment clusters because I really like the little pops of black, and they are just such appropriate words. There are quite a few stamp sets that have a little distressing stamp with speckles or bubbles or ink splotches, and I like to use those in corners where I've tucked something underneath or to kind of draw attention to or add interest to an embellishment cluster. So I'm doing that every here and there. And I had a happy accident when I lifted up a little edge here and I found an extra little starfish that I wasn't using yet. So I decided I still had the word explore. So I decided to put it down at the bottom to kind of break up that long distance across the bottom with the word explore and the little bit of speckling underneath. Last but not least, I added a few little riverside pearls. They are just so pretty. I love them. And I love that they have a flat profile. So I'm going to bring this layout up for a close-up and show you all the layers. I love how it turned out. I'm very excited about it, and it definitely, I'm glad I faced my fear and scrapbooked these pictures. They did turn out as good as I'd hoped. If you enjoyed this video, I'd love it if you'd hit that thumbs up button, and please subscribe to my channel if you haven't done that yet. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll catch you all next time here on YouTube. Bye!